Sector, North Carolina, arriving. 5th, arriving. Commodore, Coast Guard Auxiliary, 5th Southern Region, arriving. Division Captain, Sector, North Carolina, arriving. Commander, Division 26, arriving. Please stand. I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some very special guests with us this evening, including Linda. John Marino, the immediate past division vice, and his wife Julie. Brad Simpson, the incoming vice division commander. Our division commander, Mr. Hal Kendall, and his wife Linda. We have Mr. Thornell Jones, the administrative assistant to the Commodore. Raise your hand so everybody see you. Thank you. Mr. Robert Saracen, Commodore, Coast Guard Auxiliary, 5th Southern Region, and his wife Penny, also an auxiliary.
Thank you for having us.
Chief Warrant Officer Scott McAloon, our Coast Guard Auxiliary Liaison Officer, Sector, North Carolina. Commander Stephen Fashko, 5th District Director of the Auxiliary. And our Commander of Sector, North Carolina, Captain Sean Herzog. And of course, Ms. Barbara Pullman, our Division Captain. District. I think I screwed it up last year somewhere. I've got it written down correctly, I just said it wrong. We also have Mr. Bobby Miller, a lieutenant in the active duty Coast Guard. He's visiting this evening as a guest to see how we screw this up. Thanks a lot, Bobby. Mr. Hal Kendall will now deliver the opening remarks.
I want to thank everyone for being here, and it's very much appreciated by everybody in Division 26, especially me. Thank you all for coming. We're going to have a great evening tonight. Thank you.
CWO4, United States Coast Guard. How's everybody going this evening?
Good.
All right. He didn't tee this one up for me. I have the great privilege of talking about our missing members table and the honor ceremony right up here. I don't know if when you came in the room you noticed this small little humble table, but as you're nearing the dining area, you may have noticed a table at the front. I'd like to call your attention to its purpose. It's reserved to honor those missing loved ones and the members that are not here tonight. The empty place represents our members who have crossed the bar. The honor ceremony symbolizes that they are with us and here in spirit. I'd like to ask you to stand and remain standing for a moment of silence and prayer. Amen. Please be seated. I'd like to explain the meaning of the items on this very special table. The table was round to show an everlasting concern for our missing members. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives for answering their call to duty. The single red rose displayed in the vase reminds us all of the life of each of the members, their loved ones, and friends of these members who kept the faith. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of those missing or in foreign hands or have crossed the bar. The pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endeavored by those missing and their families who seek to see them again. The Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain those lost from our country and who founded us as one nation. The glass inverted symbolizes their inability to share this evening's toast. The chairs are empty. They are missing. Let us now raise our glass in a toast to honor our members who have crossed the bar. In God we trust, in His name we pray. Marilyn Brookspan, Flotilla 2602. Patrick Ramsey, Flotilla 2602. Very briefly, I'd like to talk about Marilyn and Patrick. Marilyn was a 20-year veteran to the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, along with her husband, Neil. I did not have the privilege of meeting her, as many of you did.
What?
And Patrick Ramsey, also a 20-year veteran, was on active duty during Operation Market Value in the U.S. Coast Guard. On the Coast Guard cutter Point Welcome on August 11, 1966. The cutter was patrolling south of the DMZ, and at approximately 3:40, the cutter was illuminated by an Air Force forward observer and mistook as an enemy vessel. She was attacked for 43 minutes, killing the captain and the helmsman. The captain was Lieutenant Junior Grade David Brostrom, and the helmsman was Engineman Second Class Jerry Phillips. 9 of her 15 crew members were injured. For 43 minutes, the chief, Patterson, took command, tried to beach the cutter when they were attacked by the enemy. And the Coast Guard cutter Point Orion and the Caution came and towed them to safety. Pat was one of the 4 crew members that were not injured on that day. BM-3 Patrick Ramsey was released from active duty on March 15, 1968. Pat went on to serve as a trustee for the Coast Guard Combat Veterans Association and a 20-year veteran of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Pretty noteworthy accomplishments for anyone. Thank you.
We had the honor of attending Dave Ramsey's funeral. Should note that Mr. Ramsey was buried in his Coast Guard Auxiliary uniform with his Coast Guard Combat Veterans Association hat on his chest. Very, very touching. This time I'd like to ask Dave Stewart to lead us in the stand and join hands.
Brothers and sisters, let us raise our minds and our hearts in prayer and petition. We ask your blessing for this food that we are about to share as a sign of our commitment of service to our fellow man. We give you thanks for all those who have gone before us and for their service to the United States Coast Guard. We recall with fondness and respect so many members such as Don McKibben, Joel Nerby, Ted Lee Caldwell, Alpheus and May Stakely, Roy Smith, John and Jeanette Stewart, who through their work in the auxiliary were shining examples of being our brother's keeper. We give you thanks for the support of our families, which allows us to devote our time, talents, and finances to assisting others who travel upon your waters. In this breaking of bread tonight, make it a sign of our commitment to service and to be there in fellowship for one another. We also pray for our brothers and sisters in the Coast Guard who may tonight be going into harm's way, and we pray that you will bring them home to safe harbor. Amen.
Dinner is served. I've been asked by several to say a few words about Hal Kittle. Okay, a few words short and cheap. Is that good? Okay, I was with Hal when he first decided to run for division commander, and I wanted to know what kind of division commander he was going to be. So I just asked him some basic questions, you know, and he was doing pretty good. But I think what really set it up for me, I just got off topic and I said, Hal, do you know who Noah's wife is? He said, Joan of Arc. I think I did it. Yeah, he's like ballpark. Look around the room here. The average age of an auxiliary is 58. Division 26 is so above everything else in the entire business. We have exceeded that number by many. Hal and I have been pretty good friends for several years, and he and I decided to do something for the community. We were going to go to the blood bank. And we were told that our blood type was canceled. That gets old.
That's the Panthers game we're missing.
Now I felt that we needed some exercise. You know, we both been through a few situations where we're feeling pretty down. So I was talking to Hal, and he said, look, we need to get a doctor's certificate and go on and join a fitness club. I didn't get one. I don't think Hal did either, but we joined anyway. Over at George's Gym Bar Grill. So we decided that we would do the old folks aerobics. That was probably the easiest thing we could do. The weights were too heavy. So we got into this gym and we gyrated and bent and twisted and sweated, and by the time we got them leotards on, the class was over.
You weren't going to tell anybody.
I had to know people a lot. Anyway, as some of you know, I was a Chief Warrant Officer. I'm sure you'll appreciate this, Scott. Warrant officers are pretty special people. They're almost bulletproof. Is that true? Okay. Another Chief Warrant Officer and I visited the Virgin Islands in 1980. If you look on the new maps, they're just considered the islands. Superman sleeps in warrant officer pajamas. Is that good? When the Incredible Hulk gets angry, he turns into a Chief Warrant Officer. One of our main themes in our division last year, and especially in our flotilla, what we were pushing was recruiting. How many of you recall that? I'm sure you heard me say it 1,000 times. Maybe I didn't explain who exactly we were looking for. Maybe that was it. And there's several things that you should look for. And I'm going to read these to you. These are very important to find in people that you're trying to recruit. Their bottle caps have always been child-proof and plastic. So you know the group I'm telling you about. They've always had an answering machine. They can't fathom not having a remote control. They've always had cable TV. Their popcorn has always been cooked in a microwave. They do not care who shot JR and don't know who he is anyway. They don't have a clue how to use a typewriter. They've never heard of where is the beef or I'd walk a mile for a camel. Now, I see some smiles on face because I remember all this stuff. And they never took a swim in the ocean and thought about Jaws. If you can find those people, that's the recruits that you're looking for. Right? Well, enough about that. Let's go ahead and continue with the program. And I will have Mr. Al Kendall discharge the 2014 Division 26 staff. Would the following persons please come forward? Mr. Robert Jones, Communications. Mr. Fred Thompson, Communication Services. Ms. Margie Overcash for Finance. Mr. Steve Whitaker, Information Services. Mr. Dick Howard for Operations. Mr. Mario Capodanco for Materials. Mr. Marshall Gaucher for Marine Safety. John Brundle for Member Training. Brad Simpson for Public Affairs. Tony Esposito for Public Education and Vessel Examination. Mr. Charles Thompson for Program Visitation. James Cortez for Human Resources. Tim Donaldson for Publications. And Dan O'Brien, Secretary of Records.
Brad, we got
We are going to get fired, right?
Yeah, we get rehired right away.
No.
Don't go far. Brad, front and center. You know what you did here. All right. Fred Thompson, you need my name? Jim Cordes.
Yes, Steve.
Margie's not here. Steve, there he is, baby. Morrow has got the flu and he's home. Marshall. Go, Jim. Second one, I'm not sure. John Brindle, is he around? Brad Simpson. Tim Donaldson. Charles Thompson. Dan O'Brien.
Yes, sir.
Dick Helwig. Let me give you a comment on Mr. Helwig. He had a flight out of here with his wife, 7:15 this morning out of Charlotte for some undisclosed Caribbean island. We will hold that against him. Okay, gentlemen, I want to thank you for 2014, the service you've rendered to this division. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you, sir.
Captain Murtaugh and Commodore Sherson will now swear in the division commanders.
Remember the pledge.
I've got a large print version. You like the large print version?
All right, gentlemen. You are offered your talents and services in the interest of a better Coast Guard auxiliary. The pledge you're about to take admits you to an office of greater responsibilities and high honor. Along with this honor, you must be prepared to accept certain obligations as well as the administrative and supervisory responsibilities of your office. Your task is to develop the auxiliary programs to the maximum efficiency that conditions permit. You're expected to promote a closer liaison between the auxiliary and local Coast Guard units, constantly reminding the members that their actions reflect not only on the auxiliary, but also on the Coast Guard. As a leader, you are charged with maintaining high standards in all auxiliary programs and activities, never compromising honesty and integrity. Will the audience please rise?
With the full realization of the demands of your office in terms of time, travel, and dedication, if you are willing to accept this honor, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly and sincerely pledge myself to support the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and its purposes, to promote its authorized activities, to properly discharge the duties of my office, and to abide by the governing principles established by the Commandant of the United States of the Coast Guard.
Mr. Hal Kittle and Brad Simpson will swear in the 2015 staff. Will following persons and members of the board. Operations Dick Helwig. I know these persons may or may not be here, but I just got to call all of them out so you'll know who holds those positions. Operations Mr. Dick Helwig. Marine Safety Marshal Gaucher. Communications, Dick Helwig. Public Affairs, Brad Simpson. Public Education, Charles Van Wickle. Program Visitation, Lipton Sang. Vessel Examination, Phil Bowman. Communication Services, Mr. Fred Thompson. Human Services, Jason Breland. Materials, Mario Capabanco. Member Training, WA. Publications, Tim Donaldson. Diversity, Dan Stroop. Finance, Margie Overdash. Information Services, Steve Whitaker. And Secretary of Records, Dan O'Brien.
Gentlemen, the pledge you're about to take is your commitment to support the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, an organization dedicated to the promotion of boating safety and providing assistance to the United States Coast Guard in fulfillment of its civil functions. You accept this membership as a volunteer, but as a member you are charged with certain responsibilities and obligations. These include your willingness to support the Coast Guard Auxiliary and the purpose to which you participate in its authorized program, to the best of your ability and to the extent that time and circumstances permit. As an auxiliarist, you enjoy the certain honors and privileges, among them wearing the auxiliary uniform and flying the auxiliary ensign. Wear the uniform neatly and correctly. Fly the blue ensign proudly. Your satisfaction that you derive from your auxiliary membership will be in proportion to your level of precipitation. Did the wrong one, guys. Let's start again. You have offered your talents and services in the interest of a better Coast Guard auxiliary. The pledge you are about to take admits you to an office of greater responsibility and higher honor. Along with these honors, you must be prepared to accept certain obligations as well as the administrative and supervisory responsibilities of your office. Your task is to develop the auxiliary programs to the maximum efficiency that conditions permit. You are expected to promote closer liaison between the auxiliary and the local Coast Guard units, consistently reminding the members that their actions reflect not only on the auxiliary, but also on the Coast Guard. As a leader, you are charged with maintaining high standards in all auxiliary programs and activities, never compromising honesty and integrity. Will everybody please stand? With full realization of your demands of your office in terms of time, travel, and dedication, you are willing to accept this honor. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Pledge. I state your name.
I, John Michael,
Do solemnly swear and sincerely pledge myself
solemnly swear and sincerely pledge myself
to support the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and its purposes,
to support the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and its purposes,
to promote its authorized activities,
to promote its authorized activities,
to properly discharge the duties of my office,
to properly discharge the duties of my office,
and to abide by the governing policies
and to abide by the governing policies
established by the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard.
and by the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to have a great year.
Brenda will pull you in anyway, so. We done with this? We're done.
You're done. You can go back to doing whatever you're doing.
This time, Mr. Hal Kettle and Brad Simpson will swear in the 2015 elected officers, and will the following flotilla commanders come forward. 2601 Lake Norman, Greg Truesdale. 2602 Lake Wiley, Fred Thompson. 2603 Davidson, Don Jasper. 2604 Lake Norman West, Lee Garrison. 2605 North Carolina Western Foothills, Mr. Robert Jones. 2607 Baden Lake, James Cortez.
Gentlemen, you have offered your talents and services in the interest of a better Coast Guard auxiliary. The pledge you are about to take admits you to the office of greater responsibility and high honor. Along with this honor, you must be prepared to accept certain obligations, as well as the administrative and supervisory responsibilities of your office. Your task is to develop the auxiliary programs to maintain maximum efficiency and that conditions permit. You are expected to promote closer liaison between the auxiliary and local Coast Guard units, consistently reminding the members that their actions reflect not only on the Coast Guard, on the auxiliary rather, but also on the Coast Guard. As a leader, you are charged with maintaining high standards in all auxiliary programs and activities, never compromising honesty and integrity. Will everybody please stand? With the realization of the demands of your office in terms of time, travel, and dedication, if you are willing to accept this honor, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, your name, do solemnly swear and sincerely pledge myself to support the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and its purposes, to promote its authorized activities, to properly discharge the duties of my office, and to abide by the governing policies established by the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hal Kittle, Mr. Brad Simpson, and Mr. John Moreno will make the presentations of awards to the members of Division 26.
This is an award. This is actually the best time of the whole night. This is what we've been kind of waiting for. Mr. Fred Thompson, will you please come up? I'll get you a picture again, big guy. There's an award to Fred Thompson, 2014 Operations as Coxswain, for outstanding cooperation and assistance in furthering the purposes and principles of the United States Coast Guard. I present you with this award, Fred, and our deep thanks. Very Okay, you ready for this? Murray Thompson, would you please come up?
Stand up.
Down, not over the water. Murray Thompson. This is an award for 2014 operations as crew member for outstanding cooperation and assistance in furthering the purposes and principles of the United States Coast Guard. Thank you. Chief Brendel.
He's right to your right.
Where is it? Get over here. It's my time to pick on you. This is an award for member training. You've gone above and beyond in member training. I know it's your passion, and you do it very well. Thank you, John. And Division 26. I got another one here I'm going to slip in on my brand new Vice Division Commander, Brad Simpson. Certificate Appreciation for Public Affairs Outreach Mission. As you all know, this is the guru of public affairs, and he comes out every month with his newsletter. And I got to tell you, Brad, thank you. Very. Jason Breland, 2607, front and center. God, he's a big one. Jason, this is a 2014 Partner Visitation Award for outstanding cooperation. You did everything right this year with this. Jason is a brand new member of 26, and you did more partner visits than anybody, pal. Here's a big one. This is a good one. This is one of the more important ones in our entire auxiliary. Jim Cordes, front and center, please.
Nice knowing.
No, I'm not carrying it. Sorry. The 2014 Recruiter of the Year. Jim has recruited, assisted, has helped, I think, everybody in this entire division on recruiting, including me. And again, a heartfelt thank you, because it's vital. It's a man after my own heart. Well, Flotilla Commander of 2603, Don Jasper, front and center, please. This is an award for 2014 Vessel Examiner of the Year with the most vessel examinations within Division 26. Don's in the middle of, out front, in the middle of people, showing people what to do, telling what they need on their boat. I don't have the number in front of me, but it's well in excess of 100 or more. Thank you. You're leading the way. Okay, this is a big deal to us. This is a growth award for Flotilla 2607. Brad Simpson, stand front and center. Jim Cordes, the current FC. One of the most active flotillas in this division. They have grown it, their division, several times more than any other division, any other flotilla in the division by recruiting. And there's the team right here. With a couple other guys out here that helped out a lot too. Marshall, you're another one. You contributed a lot. Jason, you're another one. So this is an award to the flotilla. Very, very much appreciated. We got a whole box full of these guys. This will take a week. No, this will get me in trouble. Chief Brendel. Come here. This is the Flotilla of the Year for Division 26. Flotilla 2602. Outstanding numbers in a lot of things. Everything is, you won it. Fred, you got a bar here to raise. I want to thank you, Chief. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, you up to another trip up here, Fred? Come on, big guy, you make it. This is a very personal award. I got one of these once. This is Auxiliarist of the Year for Division 26. Goes to Fred Thompson. He has a nickname. Can I say? Sure. Okay. Ready Freddy. You call Fred up 11:30 at night. You need a boat. I need a boat at 8 o'clock in the morning, 6 in the morning. Fred's there. Also brings his partner with him. He drags his boat to other lakes, other states. You're a vital component of both O2 and this division. You got my grateful thanks, pal. Thank you. Okay, here we go. This is since I just turned 70 this year, last year, whenever I turned 70. This is Lifetime Achievement Awards. This, we've come up with those that have really done a lot of things. I'd like Mr. Dave Stewart to come forward, please. Now, as Dave comes up here with that look on his face, I will not go over this list of accomplishments this man has made over 28 years. He's did everything. Don't say it that way. He's done everything. He's been in every position twice. He's the backbone, kind of the senior fellow for 03. And damn, people, he's just a general good guy. Thank you. Okay, this one gets me in trouble, guaranteed. This is Donnie Butterfield. Come on, sweetheart. I had to. We had an awards committee. You got picked. Donnie's got more years than I'm allowed to even say. Can't say. She's a mainstay of Flotilla 2602, the finance officer, and one backbone of the flotilla. Thank you. All right, now we're going to pick on Don Jasper again. Don, come on up here, pal. Don's pushing 20 years in the auxiliary, and he does more than people that are a lot younger. VEs, RBSs, all this. Runs a tight ship. They don't make any noise. They don't bother anybody in 03. And all their numbers are in line. Thank you, pal.
Why don't you change your name?
We're fixed.
Just change your name. It's easier to change your name.
Okay. This is going to be the new auxiliarist of the year for this division. And I'd like Dave Stewart and his daughter to come forward, please. The new auxiliarist of the year award has been named the Jeanette Stewart Memorial Award in respect to Dave's wife. I don't know. I'm going to have, they're going to be up here when we award it. Jason Breland, front and center. Here comes the big guy again. For the sake of time, I'm not going over that list of 1,000 things you've accomplished this year. RBS, everything. You make everybody proud, pal. Now, I'd like Dave and his daughter to hand it. This is a big deal.
Jeanette Stewart Memorial Award.
Thank you. Jason, back up here. It's not for a canoe. I just want to say we have, this is fire department talking, so bear with it. You award people when they do good things. Big things, little things, pat people on the back. Because right now, the paychecks are real thin here. So it was me, along with every flotilla commander, and these two guys. We just want to thank everybody for whatever you did. Big, little, small, we got a lot going. We got a lot going, and that's a step. Don Lloyd. One more to go. Okay. Yes. Jim, can you come up, please? Okay. Jim Cordes has now he's part of national staff. Don Lloyd would very much like to pin these national staff medals on Jim. And I got to tell you, I can't think of a better guy to be there.
Absolutely. Jim, we want to thank you for your time, your services, and I've been national staff for a number of years. I got kind of burned out and I had to step down. I had these medals, and rather than just keep them in my box of other things, I couldn't find a better person that I wanted to just hand them off to. And so we're very proud of Jim and the work that he's done. Look forward to the work that he's doing. And this is the national staff pin that he will now wear. And just want you to know that we're very proud of you. Look forward to you not burning yourself out. And make us proud.
That's looking pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very.
Well, that concludes the awards proceeding with one exception. Mr. Jim Cortes.
Oh, we're picking on a big guy tonight. Okay. Little misunderstanding here. No matter what John Brindle says, cheap warrants are not always right. I know it's hard to understand. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Well, Fred Thompson, come on, big guy, get up here.
On the other side of this plaque is a name, the gentleman standing beside me. Fred Thompson is the Division Auxiliarist of the Year for Flotilla 0542602. The inscription reads, your division, Commodore and 5th District Southern Region Director of Auxiliary, take great pleasure in recognizing you for your dedication to the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Congratulations. This year's model even includes a device so you can hang it. Don't put that on your boat.
Warrants always take good dictation. We're going to have some great speakers this evening. All right, our first speaker is Captain Murtaugh. And just tell you, Captain Murtaugh graduated from the Coast Guard Academy in 1989. He comes from several very impressive locations in the Coast Guard. He came from Coast Guard headquarters where he was Chief Officer of Resource Management and was responsible for the budget execution of the U.S. Coast Guard's $10 billion in annual appropriations. We'll talk to him about that in a little bit. Prior to that tour, Captain Murtaugh was a military fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a bipartisan nonprofit think tank in Washington, D.C. And he also served as a special assignment as the acting deputy executive secretary and director of White House actions at the Department of Homeland Security. During his 24-year career, Captain Murtaugh completed float tours on 378s, 140 icebreakers, and was the commanding officer of a 110-foot patrol boat in Alaska. He also served as a search and rescue controller in the 8th Coast Guard District in New Orleans. Captain Murtaugh is designated Coast Guard Airman. He has received numerous personal unit campaign and service medal awards during his career, including 4 meritorious service medals, 3 Coast Guard commendation medals, and an achievement medal. Captain Murtaugh.
Everyone, John, first off, everything you said about being a warrant officer is true, and I'm terrified of warrant officers. And my father was in the Coast Guard as well, and from a little kid on, I've always had the utmost respect for warrant officers. And we've got a great one right here with Bosun Macklin, who's our auxiliary coordinator, and the guy that you should all call if you have any issues. He's been great. And Bosun Macklin, Scott, he's kind of just like a little lab puppy. He's just easygoing. You just pat him on the head. He's a nice guy, but if he ever raises his voice at me, I'm cowering in the corner. So I'm worried about warrant officers. But great having everybody here today. And Hal, thank you very much for inviting me, sir. It's a pleasure to be here again. And it's great to be here in North Carolina and Charlotte. And did anybody get a score on the Patriots game? I had a lot of money on that game.
Patriots 35.
Patriots won? What was the score?
35-31.
Well, they didn't come to spread. Just kidding. I didn't have any money on that. But good. I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm glad to hear that. And I guess we got the Panthers game kicking off too, right? So, Commodore Surson, thank you, sir, for being here today. I know you got a very busy schedule, and it's great that you can make it here tonight along with your beautiful wife, Penny. Hal and Linda, thank you again for the invite. Commander Fochko, Steve, thank you for being here as well. Just saw you last night, of course, with Barbara Coleman, Dr. Coleman, who's my date tonight, sitting next to me. Thank you, Barbara. And had a great change of watch over in New Bern last night. And also got to recognize Barbara for becoming the new district captain. And unfortunately, Vern Scott couldn't make it here as well, but it's great to see him off as well. And I know he's still taking a position of leadership. Yeah, Vern actually told me that if I brought my wife tonight that he would have been here. So some of you met my wife person last year, but she unfortunately couldn't make it. She's a Coast Guard captain as well. But looking around the table, I just want to recognize a few people. Sandra, great to see you. Saw you, I think, last year, and I just want to thank you for everything you've done for the auxiliary, for being here tonight, and what you did as a previous division commander. It's great to see you. Thank you. And of course, we got Bosun Macklin, who I just made fun of, but he's our new auxiliary coordinator, liaison officer, took over from Warrant Officer Edge, and has been doing a great job for us. For those that don't know, he had been CO, commanding officer of the Smilax until last summer, and then as warrant officers do, they just trade jobs and stay in the same location. So Joe Edge is now the commanding officer of the Smilax, and Bosun Macklin took over.
Small mafia captain.
Small mafia. To Scott's right is Kendall Downham, who is my trusted favorite scheduler and professional admin assistant. So Kimball, thanks for coming. And Kimball just texted me today saying, hey, I'm going to show up with Bosa McAloon, and say, oh, that's great, I didn't know you were going to make it. And then I heard afterwards, like, you used to go to all these, and my predecessor used to invite you all the time. And apparently I failed in that regard, so I'm really sorry, Kimball. I'll make sure I like the next ones. So I've really done you a disservice, I apologize. Mr. Stewart and your daughter, thank you, sir and ma'am, for being here, and it's great to see that award and recognition of your wife, and what a special moment, and we all miss her. I didn't have an opportunity to meet her or interact with, but that's great, and really appreciate that. Looking around, I'm going to miss all sorts of people, so I apologize. But Dottie, I do remember meeting you last year. You look even younger and more beautiful than last year, and you must be the youngest person here in the auxiliary, so great job. Fred, congratulations on your award. From everything I've heard, very well deserved, and appreciate everything you've done and all you've done. Jason, was it Jason?
Yes.
Big man, is that the name, Big Dog? So you just recently joined?
Yes.
So they're already putting you to task quite a lot, so thank you for joining there. Let's see, looking around, we've got Lieutenant Bobby Miller, is that right, Bobby? Going to a school here in Charlotte, correct? UNC Charlotte? Congratulations on that. That's quite the accomplishment. So thank you for representing the Gulf side and coming here tonight. And you screwed up big time because now we know you're here. So we're going to work with Division 26 here. So,
I got him, Cap.
all right. Come down by Wilmington or Fort Vegas sometime. We can show you around. I know you're on break right now. You get like a month and a half off.
Started
on
school
break.
Thursday.
Yeah, there you go.
First time he shaved in probably 6 months, right?
Yeah, exactly. When I was in grad school, I did the same thing. Jim, congratulations, and thanks for everything you've done for recruiting in the auxiliary, and pleasure to meet your beautiful daughter. Is it Kendall also? Kendall. And going to become an ECU Pyre, right? So, that's a great accomplishment. It's a great school. I was just there a couple months ago for a military appreciation day, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And or have you already started? No, not yet. Okay, great. But just remember, Coast Guard people don't get along with pirates all the time, so gotta be there. Yeah. Mr. Don Lloyd, get your name right, sir. Thank you for coming down to represent as well, and all the other honored guests here. And like I said, I'm missing people, so I apologize. But anyways, I just want to say good evening and thank you again for allowing me to be here tonight. It's quite a pleasure to be here. I was here last year, and sadly, and I'm ashamed of this, I haven't had a chance to get out here to see what you all have been doing this past year. And I know you did quite a lot of significant stuff out here on the lakes of Western North Carolina, and I'm going to make it a promise to you, sir, to do that this year. I know you do a lot of great work here, and whether you're on the ocean or an inlet or a river or a lake, it's not lost on me that you all put yourselves in harm's way to protect our public and to keep us safe, keep the mariners safe. And it's just as important here in the lakes as it is elsewhere. And I know we've had quite a few great successful operations working with Division 26. So I really appreciate that. So as I always like to start off with, I'd like to thank the partners that we have in the silver side, which I like to call the platinum side of the Coast Guard. And you all work very closely with the Coast Guard active duty folks. And I really like Barbara Pullman's words, which I'm going to mess up. Barbara, help me out here. But integrating and collaborating, did I get it right?
I turned them around, but you've got them.
Okay, got it. So that's been Barbara's charge in Division 20, which she is now going to take on as a new district captain. And she's done some amazing things and will continue to do some amazing things to get both the gold and silver side together to work closely, and to help each other out and share the things that we do. So thank you, Barbara, for that. And thank all of you for that, for your volunteer service. It really means a lot to all of us. And we could not do our mission if it wasn't for all the great things you do. So I'm Sean Murtaugh. I'm the sector commander. I've been here for a year and a half now. Came from Washington, D.C. I think he said that was a prestigious job at headquarters, but it's not really a prestigious job being at headquarters. But actually, it was an important job. It was a great job to be working with Admiral Metric, who's now our district commander, in the budget shop, and to fight the good fight to get resources for the Coast Guard. And I might have mentioned this last year, but I really messed up at one point where I had to go in front of the Vice Commandant and say how we had to cut back on all these different programs, including the auxiliary. And I mentioned how we're going to, do a 20% cut across the auxiliary or something like that. I got some bad gals from my staff. And then Sally Bryce O'Hara, the Vice Commandant, proceeded to shoot me up pretty hard and say, we're not touching auxiliary money. So that actually was really good to see. And I say that seriously because Coast Guard leadership, from the Commandant on down, really respects what we do. And we try to protect our funding as best we can and continue to do so. But I thought I'd just say a few quick words about what's been going on in Central North Carolina that we've been involved with. It's been a busy year in 2014. It's going to be a busy year in 2015. And we've had quite a few things going on. Probably one of the most significant things that happened was we had a prosecution and we got somebody actually in jail right now and fined heavily for doing some hoax calls in the Morehead City area, Atlantic Beach area, as Barbara knows. This started in the fall of 2013, and we had this young man who's, I don't even want to call him a man because he's not, but he was 26 years old, wanted to show off to his girlfriend about how he could get a Coast Guard helicopter, fly out off of Cape Lookout during a really bad storm. And I might have even mentioned to you guys last year because the case was still going at the time. And put our small boat crew out of Fort Macon at risk, our aviators out of East City at risk, the Pedro Marine Corps helicopter unit out of Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point at risk during a very bad storm to look for what seemed like a very plausible, a case that we thought was real based on the tone of his voice and what he was telling.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Director of the Auxiliary for the fabulous Commander Basio.
Oh, John, here's that sticky that you're supposed to read first. Oh, please, everybody silence your cell phones.
The cell phone was reminded that
Oh, is that the warrant officer is never wrong thing? I got it.
if he is, he can always cover his butt.
Well, at table, good evening. Audience, good evening. I am the Director of Auxiliary for 5 South. This is my first time at this particular change of watch, but it is not my first time in 26. I came out to an election, and I came out to a workshop last year, and I'm originally from North Carolina, eastern North Carolina, so it's nice to see some topography and some terrain relief in that. What I'm going to do, and Captain alluded to it, is read a letter that Division Commander Pennell will be receiving from the Admiral. And it says something to this effect: I am honored you have taken the pledge to be the Division Commander within the Coast Guard Auxiliary. With your pledge, you have accepted a position with additional responsibilities, challenges, and rewards. As stated in the prologue, you are charged with certain responsibilities and obligations, and maintaining high standards in all Coast Guard Auxiliary programs and activities, never compromising honesty and integrity. Did somebody score? So, let me back up a little bit. Never compromising honesty and integrity. Make these your watchwords. And make yourself a role model to become, inspire, and develop future Coast Guard auxiliary leaders. Safe operations are paramount to our daily activity, please continue to keep operational risk management at the forefront of your thoughts so that we carry out every mission safely to ensure that we do not place our members in harm's way unnecessarily without fully understanding the risk of it. I look forward to visiting with you during my travels within the 5th District and trust you will strive to ensure all your efforts reflect favorably on the 5th District Southern Region. Semper Paratus. So, I'm sharing this with you in the event that the division commander does not when he receives it, so you can make sure he is upholding what the admiral requests. So, that's transparency. As again, as Captain Murtaugh mentioned, we have a new district commander, Admiral Metrick, and he does love the auxiliary. He's invited the auxiliary to his house for luncheon, and it was the first time I've seen one of my auxiliaries leave the office to have lunch. Normally he comes in, because I have 5 that come into my office and work 2 days a week. And the one fellow comes in and he never leaves. Comes in, works, and goes home. And it's like, you know, a bunch of us go out to lunch and he stays there. And then when he got the invitation, I said, look, you are coming to this luncheon. He came to that luncheon. And when the luncheon was over, he was antsy. He was the first guy up, and he started walking around and went to the kitchen. And, you know, he happens to own a restaurant, so he wants to see, okay, well, what does he have to line up? But, you know, that maybe I could use here in my restaurant. But he has not gone to lunch since then, so perhaps I'll have to tell the Admiral that, you know, next time he has lunch that has extra seats, like this gentleman, because although we love him in the office, it's nice to see him get out and do other things. So, let's see. The Waterways Watch, the Office of Boating Safety, who is our sponsor at headquarters, is trying to generate some more interest to get folks involved with the American Waterways Watch, which is the If You See Something, Say Something program. It is attached to all our auxiliary pages, so since we're in a low operational period, if you can go ahead and review that, and they, you know, they're also saying, hey, go ahead and put the phone number into your cell phone. Is it in yours? Yes. Good. That's good. I wouldn't expect anything less from it. So the phone number, in case you're playing with your phone silencing it right now, is 877-24-WATCH. Okay? And again, if you're unfamiliar with the program's all about, even though we are in the inland lake, there are bridges around here, and there are important facilities that, you know, somebody might decide to target. So, and besides that number, you got 911 if something is happening like right away. And then you also have channel 16. So please go ahead and review that and program that into your phone. And if you have any problem with that, John will be glad to help. Budget, this year we were a little better off than last year. Again, I like when the captain goes first because he says hello to everybody. And then he says something that I can follow up on. Even though we didn't, you know, folks think we cut the auxiliaries budget. We didn't really cut the budget. When folks stopped traveling, that was because we had ceiling caps on the amount of travel that we could do. So they kind of relaxed that for this year, and I think we had 850 training, sea school training billets and that kind of thing. So we tried to get as many as our folks into those trainings that we could, and I think that's helped us out quite a bit. For 15, we expect more of those training evolutions to take place, and we'll put as many of the 5th Southern folks in there as we can. The captain, something that he mentioned tonight, but he also mentioned yesterday, but I failed to mention it as part of the change of watch. The hoax thing. There's hoaxes and there are false alarms. false alarm could be something that was an innocent activation of an e-perk. Now, while this hoax was not perpetrated by an auxiliarist, and I think we all know why, because we're trying to teach just the opposite. But on occasion, there are some false alarms that involve auxiliarists. And one gentleman was trying to register his e-perk in northern Alabama, and the thing went off. And if you know anything about the e-perks, it gives you two locations, potential locations. One, an A and B. And then, so normally, you expect them to be going off over the water. So we picked the A position at the command center to start looking at, but there was no data. I mean, the thing was not registered yet. The guy was actually registering at the time that he set it off. So they're diverting Navy assets and stuff off of Virginia Beach, and Coast Guard assets are, spooling up. Well, then he registered it, and so that stuff is all immediate. And then the next time it hit, it gave his name and his address and his telephone number and all that. So the command center was able to follow him up and said, hey, did you inadvertently activate this thing? He sheepishly admitted that he did. And so he stood down all the SAR assets, which, when you turn a Navy ship around, that means they're not doing something else that they shouldn't be doing. So I just tell you the story because all of our crewmen now are going to be carrying PLBs. So everybody's going to have, not just the coxswain, but everybody out there. So when you start registering those things, please follow the directions. And if you don't know how to do it, and for those out on the coast, Scott. So that is, it's not a joking matter. We've got to be careful with that. Last thing I'd like to say is, as I was driving out here, I like to take the 55-mile-an-hour roads because I have to mark it. It's the best mileage at 55. And as I was driving through some of the small towns and areas, I came across a reader board, and it had something on it that I think is important, and I hope folks will take this message and think about it and go ahead and look at 2015 as a new year, because it is. But I mean, look at it and move forward. Let's let bygones be bygones. Work towards the higher goals, the things that we want to do. And the reader board said, a grudge is an acid which destroys its container. So think about that. And what I'm going to ask folks to do, if anybody has grudges in the room, that we go ahead and let it go, flush the acid, and save the containers. Okay? Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is our new Commodore, Mr. Bob Saracen.
Happy New Year. Great to see everyone's smiling faces and great to be part of your event. Penny and I appreciate, and as we mentioned, this is your event. We're guests. So it's our privilege and honor to be here, and we greatly appreciate that. And I know Thornell, as my aide and right-hand man, appreciates that also. Being passionate about the auxiliary, the members, public affairs, the part of the team. We've got great things coming forward in this year. So we come here together today to honor Division 26 past, and we prepare for the future. We express thanks for the outgoing leadership, and we celebrate our members' contributions over the past year to the division's success. We thank our families and support, which without, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. Thank you for your dedication, generosity, sharing your time, your talent, teamwork, and commitment to making a difference through active participation in supporting all the missions of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Division 26 has much to be proud of. Looking through the numbers, we discussed some this evening, but it is amazing. You mentioned the captain, over 1,800 hours in operations. RBS, which you know is our #1 mission, recreational boating safety. You've done well in this area. With over 322 hours of public education, 730 hours of public affairs, which from year to year was 11% increase. So congratulations. Here's a big number. Over 844 program visitations, which nearly doubles. It's over a 95% increase from year to year. And I'm thinking the big man has a big contribution to that, along with everyone in the division. Over 712 vessel safety checks, a 39% increase from year to year. And let's not forget member training. With your over 515 recorded hours, you have done an excellent job. Looking forward to this year, I'm proud of everyone's accomplishments, no matter what the numbers. It all goes towards the whole. I'm proud of you, and the numbers are amazing. But the truly amazing thing is the members that are doing the hard work and effort. So give yourselves a round of applause. You definitely deserve it. Our winter D-Train's coming up in Richmond, February 13th to 15th. Hopefully we'll see many of you there. The online registration will be coming out on Monday, so stay tuned for that. As always, we want to improve. I know we can do better, and when I say that, I don't necessarily mean increasing the numbers. Increasing the quality of what we do is important. Congratulations to all the award winners attending tonight, and I'm looking forward to continuing with your division leaders, Dale and Brad. So in closing, why do we do what we do? Whether you volunteer 10, 100, even 1,000 hours, it's nice to be recognized for your efforts. It's great to have a sense of accomplishment and know you're part of a group that is larger than you. Even in our day-to-day jobs, it's nice to hear thank you. Recognition, praise, and thanks is greatly appreciated, and I truly appreciate everyone's hard work and efforts. So from the bottom of my heart, to you, thank you for all your hard work, commitment, and everything you stand for. I'm looking forward to this year. I hope you are too. I stand here because I want to make our organization better, and I can't do that without you. Need your help, support, ideas, and input to move the district forward. I'm proud and honored to be your district commodore and supporting the members in our district in Division 26. Thank you very much.
Chief Warrant Officer Scott McElroy.
I'm the new guy in town, and I just wanted real quick 2 minutes to talk with everybody about what I can and can't do. Right? Yeah, there's a couple things I can't, but and I'm not going to do the whole chief warrant officer thing. I'd like to finish up my 4 years and not have the captain retire me. He really doesn't fear me. He's just being a nice guy, and I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. 27 years I've been in the Coast Guard, and I've been a waterman a lot longer than that. And I would like to start off by saying thank you for what you do. Volunteer service to other Americans and watermen, it means the difference between life and death. And a lot of what you do, as you're walking through Walmart and it says auxiliary and somebody asks you about a life jacket, sometimes we don't see what that really means. Educating boaters, we really don't see at the time the gravity of that, but on that dark and stormy night when nobody's out there and the only thing they have to reflect on, their whole horizon, because they're all flatlanders around here, let's face it, right, is what you taught them in a classroom. That's the difference in who comes home and who doesn't, so thank you. It's the little things that you probably don't see every day, and I use Sandra a whole lot. I'm going to pick on her because she's at my table. When I get a call at 11 o'clock from one of the officers in charge, and they say their cook's mother's dying in California, they need to get them home, and I'm able to call her and get the OXFS program there. You don't necessarily see that here, but I can assure you that meant a lot to that young man's family. So those small things that you sometimes don't think we appreciate because we're 5 hours that way, I'm here tonight to tell you we do. So thank you. Thanks, Sandra, and I will call you again. You know that. I started the Coast Guard out in 1987, and one of the first persons I worked for was an auxiliarist. And the guy was really crafty. He was a World War II pilot. And I mean, I thought he expected me to know every part of the AOR. And he'd lived there about 90 or 100 years at least. And then I moved on to the Keys, and I worked for a guy named Folsom Exceeding Chief Ernie Niblett. He wrote the UTB, the 41 book. Old boat, we really don't use them anymore. But I was already at Coxswain, so I walked in there with my pen all proud, strutting in there, and he said, no one runs a boat in my AOR until they've spent a week with auxiliary. He valued their experience and their local knowledge of the waterways, much like we do out here. We might know policy and procedures, but I'm here to tell you, I know when we send our boat crews from Sector, North Carolina, out here on an LE mission, we cannot do it as well as you do because we don't know the area. And quite honestly, we rely on you a lot. So thank you for that stuff. Don't think it doesn't go unnoticed or unappreciated. I am your sounding board. I'm your advocate, the bridge to the gold side, and I jump up and down and make sure that all your good work is heard. And they're very receptive. It's just we're 5 hours away. We need to get out here more. I'm asking for travel money for the captain members.
I am too.
You know, we're just one good storm away or one airplane crash away from needing everyone in this room, all hands on deck. So keep up the training. There's a new OX SOP that's nearly ready to hit the street. We've done a lot of work on it. And, you know, 1939, 75 years, people have worn your uniform and done this great deed to America before you, and it's a great tradition. So I'd just like to say thank you. Two things. My largest concern, what keeps me awake at night, being a waterman and your advocate out here, is the comms issue. You don't have a Coast Guard station a couple miles away. And we do have some new policy and procedures coming out to try to, you know, use a cell phone. What is your secondary communication? Is that person that manned up the aux station, are they really on watch? Is everything really working? It's just North Carolina, but the water's cold. And you can die just as quick of hypothermia on a lake, if not quicker than you can in the ocean. The ocean's a little bit more dense and you float easier. So that keeps me awake, you know, when I hear there's an operation going on. And I just ask all of you in this room to relay that on to, you know, is there only one cell phone on board your boat today? Because, you know, did we make sure that it's charged up? I mean, what's our comms plan? That's one of the real Achilles heels to being out here and away from all your gold brethren at a station. So it's a risk, and it ups our guard for sure. And so I just ask that all of you think about the comms and how long you are away from, you know, getting help. What's the second boat crew? Who's going to stand by if my boat breaks down? It makes us concerned at Sector for sure. And congrats to Hal and Brad. Thank you very much. And in closing, how I know Division 26 has got it right, if you'll open your brochure and go to underneath the administrative part, the finance. I'm going to pick on you, Margie. I don't know who you are, but their finance officer is Margie Overcash. So I know you guys got it right. Thank you, and call me if you need anything.
Great pleasure, Miss Barbara Stoll.
I am the newest kid on the block here, and it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Hal, and people to have an opportunity here to begin to get to know Division 26. My history is actually lakes, and I'm kind of coming back. I need to learn more about lakes once again. I'm originally from Minnesota. Yeah, sure, you betcha. Land of Lake Wobegon. And I grew up, I was 30 years in the state of Minnesota. I loved our lakes out there, enjoyed it a great deal. And ultimately, when I got back out here to North Carolina, it's awful cold in Minnesota. The lakes freeze in the winter. You can't blame them. So here I am now in North Carolina, and I'm very much a water person. But this salt water that I was living next to is something different. It's a different animal. And the first thing I did was take a boating safety class from the local Coast Guard Auxiliary and became hooked, line and sinker here. And here I am. I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to have an opportunity to get to know you all here and know your lakes. I've learned a little bit already this evening. I understand your lakes around here tend to do a lot of up and down. Yeah, and in Minnesota, they only do that when it rains. It comes up, and when it doesn't rain for a while, it goes down. And I understand you folks have a little different cycle for your lakes around here. So I look forward to getting to know that a little better. As Captain Murtaugh noted, in my 2-year stint as division commander for 20, one of my missions this last year was to collaborate and integrate to get our 6 flotillas working together and learning together. We had a great year. Every flotilla is a little different. Every flotilla is a custom job. And every flotilla has strengths, every flotilla has weaknesses, and when we worked together, we all became stronger. And we just had a fabulous year. We had fun. Everybody in my division, we like each other. We have a good time. Because that's what really it's about. We are volunteers. We do not get paid for this. If you have not found something that you have fun doing, something that does not put joy in your heart and a smile on your face, then I think you should maybe be doing something else with your time. Because I want to have fun. And I think that's one way we build our auxiliary. Because each of you going out there, you're at a boat ramp, you're doing your program visit. If you look like you are having fun, they're going to join you. And then we grow. And we have more fun. So I really hope that we can do some collaboration and integration here in Division 26. Have a good time. Grow together, and I invite you to come on out to the coast when you get out there. You're all North Carolinians. Come on, you guys come to the beach, don't you? Raise your hands. How many come to the beach? All right. I want you to come see me. My home flotilla is Swansboro Flotilla. We have a wonderful working relationship with Coast Guard Station Emerald Isle. And we are generally out on the water every Tuesday and Thursday, training with the Gold Side together. They tow us around and we tow them around, and we play scenarios and they play scenarios on us. It's training. It is fun. And if you're going to be anywhere near Emerald Isle, give our flotilla commander a call. We are happy to have you on board our vessel. We have space on the boat. We routinely have folks from other flotillas on our boat, and we train together. And we've had a few of you folks out. Dick Helwig made his way out to us, and we've had him on one of our boats. John Brindle's been out to see us. I don't think we got you on a boat yet. We wanted to, but we maybe scared him off. We have all that skinny water out there. You've got to be really careful where we are. We got a lot of skinny water. And we have a very treacherous little inlet that is always a challenge and keeps you on your toes. And we'd be delighted to show you that. Certainly I look forward to coming here and learning things about your environment. And I invite you to come out and visit and see us. We are one auxiliary. We can learn from each other. And I'm looking forward to some very good things happening this year. And I thank you so much. I hope you'll be patient with me as I figure out what I'm really supposed to be doing here. And I really look forward to having fun. Thank you so much.
So Barbara, can I come on one of your boats? Is she let?
Yes.
She let me drive. They didn't have any boats going anywhere. Just kidding. They were training other people that day, and they were extremely hospitable. anytime you get down near Milwaukee area, I really encourage you to go down and meet with the Swansboro folks. They gave me coffee, some guy gave me a donut, drops. It's okay. We had a great time that day meeting with Barbara and her folks. I encourage you to attend the Swansboro location. And last but not least this evening, as the captain had referred to us, our platinum sleeve leader, Mr. Hal Kennel.
It's a tough act to follow, gentlemen. It's a tough act to follow. My viewpoint of the change of watch is a celebration of the past year and anticipation of the coming year. Vision 26 will continue to move forward in the direction that we set, policies we put in place. And take something from DCAP Pullman, we're going to have fun. That's why we're here. We've got a lot going for us. Captain Ed went over numbers. Numbers are good. It's been a good year in general. We've had some drama, we've had some hits, but generally I think we had a great year. It's going to be brief because it's getting late. We got a raffle going, but this goes for everybody in the room, everybody on the streaming video. Let's get on the same team. We need to move forward. We can move forward much better, in a great way, if everybody's on the team. You got great ideas. If it's a better idea than I've got, tell us. We're going to use your idea if it's better. But we need to be a team. I think we're right on the edge of becoming that team. We're going to move forward. Again, thank you all for coming. We're going to have a raffle now, unless the chief decides to do something else. Thank you.